You're listening to Alternative Future Radio, home of the weird, resting place of the paranormal. Will take you to the furthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond. Strange phenomena, aliens, psychics, cryptozoology, conspiracy, holistic health, and UFOs. Alternative Future Radio, where spooky just got weird.
From the alternative to the mainstream, from the ridiculous to the sublime, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the audio delight that is the After Hours Show with Basel and Mark.
Ooh, yeah. The smoothness. It's like The Gathering from Highlander, but smoother. Good morning, Basel.
I never know where to come in with that new...
It's all over the place.
Isn't it?
It is. It's a little bit random.
There's no space to sort of...
Not really. No. You just have to come in full whack.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon.
Yes.
To Europe, the Middle East,
Christ.
and Africa.
What about Australia? What about America?
I'm not too sure about Australia and America.
Oh, just generally. You're just not sure about
them.
them.
They're not showing their faces.
You're not sure where they stand?
Well, they're just not downloading us enough.
We're getting a good few from America.
Are we doing better in America?
Not so much from Australia, though.
Australia's very low.
Yeah, very, very low.
Europe, Africa, Middle East.
Middle East, particularly.
Fantastic.
Full bore. The Middle East are making up quite a sizable proportion of our downloads for reasons we still do not understand. Please email us and let us know.
We have two shows.
Yes.
I want to try to explain this a little bit better. We have the Out There Hour.
Yeah.
Which is where we talk to we have a guest.
We have a guest.
And we do an interview.
We do. It's mostly an interview show.
And then we have this. We've got the thing called the After Hours.
The After Hours show.
A little bit later in the evening when we kick off our shoes and smoke a pipe, put on our slippers.
You do know that smoking a pipe is a euphemism, don't you?
I don't.
Yeah.
I can only guess what that means.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's smoking my pipe.
Yeah. Not in this room. Not right now.
Well, depending on what you look like. No, I actually meant actually smoking a pipe.
Right. Okay.
That's much better. I can hear myself again now. I had no volume there.
Lovely.
But, yeah,
lovely.
I've kicked in.
Yeah. Go on.
So, yeah, just a little bit of an explanation about the two shows. It might be a bit some
people
confusing.
might be just joining in.
So we have an Out There Hour where we do interview, and we have the After Hours where we just kick back and have a chat.
Yeah, exactly.
About what we've chatted about.
Yes. Yeah, we're at the post-meeting meeting. And the pre-meeting for the meeting after.
You look keen with your piece of paper.
I've got a piece of paper.
Ah.
Yeah, with very little written on it.
I noticed that.
Yes, it's my after-hours plan, which we diligently draw up every week.
It's more than what I've got, to be fair.
You've got nothing?
I've got my hands.
Wow.
With nothing written on them.
What a pro.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to start then?
Yeah, why don't I?
You go on, do.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to kick me off with something.
Yeah.
Shall I start with a desperate top five?
Oh, go! Oh, we're straight in at the top five, is it? Go on, start with your desperate top five.
Well, about 5 minutes in, as I was driving, it occurred to me.
Yes.
TV. TV cars, cool ones.
There are some cool cars.
Yeah. The top of the list here, the Monkey Mobile, because we were talking about Mike Nesmith last time.
Well, you were.
I was.
Everybody else was just putting up with it.
Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, their car was quite good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
The Dukes of Hazzard, kind of similar.
Yeah, very similar, yeah.
Very similar.
I don't know much about cars, but they look kind of similar to me.
We had a bit of an argument about this. The Fall Guys truck.
Yeah, not really sure. I tell you what I prefer, the A-Team's van.
I haven't got that down, but yes, the A-Team's van. But the Fall Guys truck, he did drive the same truck in every episode, and Matchbox did make a model of it.
Right. Well done.
How many is that, Mark?
I have no idea. 3.
Munsters. Do you remember the Munsters?
Yes, yeah.
Thing. And the Batmobile from Adam West's Batmobile, number 1.
Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, there's loads of TV cars. You've got Kitt from Knight Rider.
Yeah, I haven't got that
What
down.
was that? Was that a Pontiac? Was it a Firebird?
It was a black car.
Yeah. I don't know much about cars. I think it was a Pontiac.
Serious?
I think, yeah.
You're not a car fan?
I drive a Daewoo.
Yeah. I drive a Nissan.
Yeah.
I recommend a Nissan to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was the famous cars from Bullitt, which I think one of them was a Dodge Charger. I think the other one was a what's the one with a picture of a horse on the front?
Lamborghini?
No, not that kind of horse. Or is it a dog? I can't remember what it's called. I don't know much about cars.
I think my favourite car, because I'm not a car guy either, but I think my favourite one would have been Roger Moore's white one.
The one that went underneath the water with. Yeah. I don't know what kind of car that was.
That was about the only car I really.
Yeah, it was a white one.
And again, I'm not a car guy at all.
Yeah, there's lots of car people screaming all these names at us. I can imagine, and it's like, oh yeah, it was a white one.
I think it's worth mentioning to people that Mark doesn't know who George Bernard Shaw is. And he's never heard of him.
I know his name. I know what he did.
Or how famous he is.
I know that lots of people have heard of him, but I have no idea of anything that he's done of any great merit. Nothing he's done has touched me anyway, put it that way.
All kinds of plays and...
Plays.
Poems.
Plays are like films, but more boring and a lot more expensive.
Lady Chatterley's Lover, which wasn't Bernard Shaw, it was D.H. Lawrence, but it's... I'll help you along. They become films at some point.
Is this some kind of recovery that you thought that he wrote that, didn't you?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Women in Love. It was directed by... no. Well, they're all great plays that were made into movies.
Plays, yeah. Plays are so much fun.
Well, they are.
That's why the theatre's so strong at the moment. Its numbers just increase every year and more theatres open every week.
It is for the select intellectual few.
Select intellectual few. Emperor's New Clothes much? Sit around telling each other how much you enjoy it, even though it's awful.
I watched a movie on Exorcist last night.
A movie about The Exorcist?
No, it was about exorcism, about demonic possession.
Oh, right. Well, we nearly got through an episode there without demonic possession coming up.
I thought I'd bring it up.
We'll do Nazis later. Go on.
It's called The Devil Inside. It's a new film.
Okay, yeah.
It's done like a sort of a... What was that? Blair Witch.
Oh, like a mockumentary.
It's a mockumentary. And it was just pointing out there that... I know this happens in Rome, in the Vatican. They do little lectures...
Right.
On possession, and you'll have priests, but you'll have psychiatrists, and you'll have all kinds.
Yeah.
Sort of debating whether it's mental illness or is it a spiritual phenomenon.
Yeah. And?
Well, I mean, there's no conclusion on it.
But why do they keep having them?
Because it's inconclusive, like most of debates and science.
Well, I don't know why you would keep going over the same thing. I think Einstein said that the definition of stupidity was doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Well, that would be science then.
No, because science changes something, a variable.
Science is like a religion to you.
It's not a religion to me.
I mean, you say if it's scientifically proven, that's it. There's nothing else to look at.
Until somebody disproves it, which science is always open to.
But scientists are always debating and they're always disagreeing.
That's the point, to try and get to what they believe to be the truth. And then it's somebody else's job to disprove it if they think they've got a better idea.
Yeah, but what was scientifically proven, say, 200-300 years ago, has been disproven since.
Yeah.
So that at the point in science we're at now, in 200 or 300 years' time...
Yeah.
Or 500 years' time, most of that will probably be disproven.
Some, maybe, but not most.
That's why I don't have the greatest of faith in science. I can take it on board, but I don't think it's the answer.
Yeah.
It's the end.
I think that some things are so irrefutable and unnegotiable that they probably will never be changed.
Yeah, but not everything.
But some of the stuff that we're still a bit vague on definitely will be revised. Some of it, I mean, like, I don't know. For example, the makeup of an atom. You know, they're doing all their Large Hadron Collider stuff, and they don't know what all the gaps are between the elements of an atom. And that's going to rewrite the books if they actually find out.
Absolutely.
To some degree. But they're doing it, and they will rewrite the books. But they hadn't previously written a book about what was between the atoms. They only said, we don't know. And we don't know is an acceptable answer. Whereas if you put a dog collar on somebody, we don't know, doesn't ever happen. all they do then is make up their own version of reality and punt that instead of we don't know.
But then, of course, there was the time when there was no such thing as an atom or a molecule or anything else. And then the...
Go on.
Well, at that time, it was all nonsense. If somebody was going around randomly saying, "Oh, that we're all made up of these little tiny balls,"
it was probably heresy.
That and I don't know what holds it together.
Yeah,
you'd say, "Well, that man's a nutter."
Not if he could prove it.
Well, he couldn't prove it.
Yeah, well, that's why nobody said it.
Somebody said it. Just pretend. Use your imagination.
Yeah, I'm using it now.
So, do you see what I'm saying about science? It's fine, it's good, but it's not the be-all and end-all.
The point being, of course, is that he would say that, and yes, people would say he was mad, but eventually he'd be proven. And I imagine you're probably going to start quoting all loads of esoteric stuff and say, well, this might be proven to be true.
That's exactly what I'm going to do, yeah.
But when it goes against the very basics of childhood physics, then there's not a great deal. Put it this way, it might be possible, but that's not the same as probable.
But it's established. It's established physics.
Yeah.
We simply don't know. I mean,
there's a big difference between possible and probable. Yes, it's possible that this is a three-dimensional hallucination that we're all having and that we're really some fancy spirit living on the other side of the galaxy. What's more probable?
Or that
is it more probable that we're completely unstable, not confident in ourselves, want to think that we're bigger than we are, and we're just feeling alone in the universe? That or the alternative? What's more probable?
Or are we... Well, it depends on your point of view completely.
Yeah.
It completely depends on your point of view.
Yeah.
Where you're coming from or where I'm coming from. Quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
And my understanding of that, and I've probably got it wrong now, you'll be a lot better on this than I will.
Maybe.
But when, it was explained to me this way. When scientists were looking through a microscope, quantum mechanics is when you split, split an atom, is it? Or a molecule, or
my physics is a little bit ropey these days.
Or an electron, where apparently they think...
You can have them in two places at once, if that's what you're getting to.
Something like that. But depending on the scientist that looked at it.
Yeah.
So if one scientist saw a banana, was thinking of a banana, he saw a banana. If one saw a Lamborghini, he saw a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
I know that's a rather ridiculous thing to say. But it's buying into the, do we create our own reality?
Yeah. Yeah, lots of people subscribe to that, but there's no evidence to suggest that there's any reality or any truth.
No, there's no evidence.
It's an idea that somebody came up with.
Ideas.
Somebody thought of it.
Ideas are bulletproof.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately.
I think you mentioned there, the holographic universe.
Yeah, which is the same thing as you're talking about.
It is.
It's a different name for the same thing.
But, not to dismiss them. They're all possibilities. As I say, established science...
Possible, but not probable.
500, 1,000, 2,000 years ago, we tell you what wasn't possible.
Occam's razor.
And things became possible. I know.
What's more likely?
Explain Occam's razor there.
All things being equal, whatever is the most likely is probably the truth. Whatever the most simplest explanation is the truth.
At the time.
Well, we can only work in the time that we're in.
At the time, no, we can work beyond that because we can be searching.
No, you are in the time you're in, and that's the end of that.
I think we're filling up the time nicely, aren't we?
You're in the time you're in.
We'll just debate about science.
You can't decide something today for tomorrow. Or for yesterday. You're only in the time you're in.
But you can imagine if you're not looking forward.
But you can imagine, but you're still imagining in the time that you're in.
You can't
imagine into the future.
You can say what if. You can be experimenting.
No, but that's you today thinking about tomorrow. That's not the same thing as thinking tomorrow.
I don't understand that sentence. Right.
If you tomorrow are going to go and play a football match, which is highly unlikely, you would think today, in your case with utter dread that you would have to be around other people, you would think today about tomorrow. But that is you right now thinking about tomorrow. That doesn't mean that your thoughts are happening tomorrow. They're happening today.
But how does tomorrow...
So imagining the future is not the same as being in it.
How does tomorrow happen without thinking about it?
It happens whether you think about it or not.
Well, you've got to think about what you're going to do tomorrow. This match I'm going
to... Why are you so relevant in any of this? This is the whole human condition. They're convinced that they're important somehow.
Everybody's important. Everybody's relevant.
This is the whole point.
Everybody matters.
Yeah, to each other, but not in the grand scheme of things.
Human beings are incredible. They're capable of doing all kinds of things. Incredible things.
Really?
In sport or inventions or...
Human beings are a parasite. On Earth.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
Look at the state of the planet before we got here. Now look at it and see what we've done with our time.
That's through greed, though, isn't it? It's not through invention.
All animals are greedy, though. That's the whole point. When we got intelligent enough to be really good at being greedy, we just did it better than a dolphin might.
I'd subscribe to money being the root of all evil.
Probably, to a degree.
I mean, a lot of the bad things that are done in the world, you can trace to money.
Put it this way. If a dolphin ate, I don't know, mackerel, for example, right? If dolphins developed an elaborate speech system like we have, there'd be no mackerel in the sea.
Go on with that, because I quite liked what you were saying with this.
Yeah.
It was very good. So if dolphins managed to communicate, to speak to one another...
Yeah, they'd say, wow, have you been down that South China Sea, Barry? There's loads of mackerel there.
Yeah.
And, they'd go, oh, right, I will do. I'm off down there. And he'd tell other people on the way there.
Other dolphins, right? Yeah.
Right, now, what he would do is he'd tell his friends, maybe if he was lucky. They'd go. Anybody he didn't like, he wouldn't tell them. He'd send them the opposite way, and they'd starve.
And he'd...
and then you're basically going to end up with what we've got today.
Hey, imagine he's an elitist and he doesn't like...
Screw everybody.
He doesn't like the majority
Yeah,
of
I'm telling
dolphins.
nobody. I'm going down the South China Sea. I'm going to eat all the mackerel myself.
He'll tell a select few dolphins that he thinks, like Bernard Shaw, that are worthy.
Exactly, yeah.
And so they'll monopolise the mackerel.
They'll go and eat them all.
In Japan.
Much the same way Mitsubishi do today, ladies and gentlemen, with tuna. But
they're just greedy, mean dolphins. They're not.
Yeah, but the point is that there will always be one that rises to the top.
It's because they have no spirituality. They're just self-centered.
All animals are the same. Humans do the same thing. My point is that greed is a natural thing. All animals are designed to eat, sleep, crap, and reproduce.
Well, that's why.
And when they've done all of those things, they sit down.
That's why we've got to look within ourselves to be less greedy and less selfish. We've got to.
But you're not going to defeat your own biological urges.
But that's what you need to do.
Yeah, but you're not gonna. No more than you can. No more than you can decide to stop breathing.
You're not going to if you don't try.
You're not going to anyway.
It's not the same as breathing.
It's like saying, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to suffer from fear anymore," and you're just going to disable your fear chip.
Well, fear is a different thing. Fear can be healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's healthy to be fearful of heights.
Greed is so much more built into your brain, even more so than fear is, because it's a survival instinct. The problem is, when you're a wild animal, you eat and reproduce and all that lot. But when you eat because you've caught your food, or if you're an animal, you eat the grass or whatever. The problem lies where you have more food than you need, and in our case, we can farm, so we eat excessively, or we can fish, and so we fish excessively, and then you end up with a situation where you eat all of them, and then there's no fish left.
But animals haven't got a media that's constantly, programming you.
It's not even that. My point is that if a dolphin could have a system like we have, they'd do exactly the same thing to the seas as we've done to the land.
But only.
It'd be full of polluting dolphin factories and things.
Only a handful of self-centered, greedy dolphins. Not the majority. I think the majority of people are not greedy.
I think
or selfish.
Not to any level that you wouldn't even perceive it as greed. That's the point. What we perceive today as greed is so much further down the line than the greed than you actually need. Put it that way. Anything beyond your basic requirement is greed.
Right.
So if you eat biscuits, that's greed.
Yeah, so say...
If you drink tea because you feel like it rather than because you're thirsty, that's greed. That emotion is your body's desire when there's plenty. The problem is, right, your brain thinks, oh, look, there's a glut of food. I'd better eat it all in case there's going to be a famine next week, because that's your basic brain trying to keep you alive. The problem is the famine never comes if you live in a, civilized, white, westernized country.
Please God.
Then, so you just basically keep eating and consuming because your brain thinks, oh, well, maybe tomorrow the famine will come.
But look, it's degrees of greed. I mean, having a biscuit and a cup of tea is not quite the same greed as, say, a global banker's greed.
The problem is that we all eat the biscuits. And that means that they have to grow a load of wheat somewhere, which means that they probably deforested an area to plant the wheat. It's a never-ending cycle. It's downwards. Here's a proof of it. Birds. If there's a storm coming birds fly around like maniacs. You'll see them all the time, tweeting and flying around.
Absolutely.
People often think it's warning that the storms are coming, but it's not. What they're doing is they're feeding. They actually go mad to go and eat as many flies and spiders or whatever it is that they eat. And they fly up and down like crazy. They stuff themselves because they don't know how long the storm will last.
But that makes sense.
Yeah, but that's exactly what we do when we buy biscuits.
So we think
Our brain is not evolved enough to catch up with... our basic brain is still basic. Our bigger brain can see that there's not going to be a famine. It can extrapolate from the facts and the surroundings that there's probably not going to be a famine tomorrow. But our basic brain, the one that controls fear and reproduction...
reptilian?
Yeah. That brain still thinks that there might be a famine tomorrow, and it keeps telling you to eat the biscuits, hence why everybody's getting so fat.
Yeah, but that's why we need to stop tapping into our reptilian brain.
You can't. It's the brain that keeps you alive. It's the brain that tells you to take your hand off something when it's hot. It's the bit that keeps you alive.
Yeah, but you're talking about being controlled by it.
Yeah, but not using
it.
Put it this way, right? Look at a computer as an analogy, right? If you have like a Windows operating system on your computer, that basically turns it on and tells it which way is up. You then might run a program like, I don't know, Word or something, and Word, you can turn Word on, you can turn Word off, you can write a document, you can turn PowerPoint on and make a presentation, but Windows always runs, and that is your basic brain. When that stops running, you're screwed. If you turn that off, you'll just turn into a cabbage.
Is that a personal opinion?
No, that's pretty much bona fide as generally accepted science.
Well, that's what I keep saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
About science.
Yeah. Disprove it and science will welcome you.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to develop as a human. I'm trying to develop as a human being. I'm trying to get beyond the greed.
Yeah, but you can't turn that off.
And my nature.
Yeah, you can't turn that off, though.
You can't if you don't try.
Put it this way, right? Right, put it this way, right? If a gorgeous, blonde, titty woman came in...
don't bring sex into it.
No, we've got to... If a gorgeous woman came in and she's got a little tiny waist and a big ass and all the other stuff, and she was sort of waggling her stuff around, your brain is going to make you look at her.
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to go, whoa, look at that. Yeah, I want some of that.
Yeah.
And that is your basic basal ganglion, it's called. It's not called a lizard brain. That's a David Icke thing. It's called a basal ganglion. That is going to go, I see those dimensions. That look like, they look like childbearing hips. I want that one. That's what your brain tells you. And no more can you turn that off. Can you turn your greed off?
Listen, what do you think about this, about women?
They're all right.
Yeah, I like them too.
Yeah.
In the media. And,
I like them in the media too.
What they're saying...
Certain types of media.
There's a certain type of woman that they say we should be attracted to, that the advertisers say we should be. But then there's a woman that we're actually attracted to. And as you just mentioned it there, the childbearing hips, the hourglass figure. Quite a big woman, actually.
It's actually, there's a ratio for it. There's a golden ratio. There are two things that make anybody attractive, believe it or not, men or women.
Is health one of them? Is it being healthy?
Symmetry.
Yep,
the more symmetrical your face is, the more attractive you will be.
Okay.
That is you will see that if you read any books on photography or modelling or stuff, it's all in symmetry. If you've got somebody who's got a jaw that's slightly off to one side, or they've got a spot there, or one eye's higher than the other, that's instantly less attractive. Your eye will see it. Again, this is your basal ganglion talking. It tells you immediately this person's more symmetrical.
Basal ganglion, reptilian brain.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's funny you should say that. If you look at any model or actor or actress, they look pretty much the same from each angle, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. That's symmetry. And for women, they have a 3-2-3 ratio. They have three at the top where their boobs are, 2 at the waist and then 3 at the hips. 3, 2, 3.
Is that what we're looking at?
And that's what your brain is programmed to look for.
Yeah, that's what my brain is programmed.
Yeah, you want big boobs for feeding babies, big hips for bearing babies, and little waists for room to expand for babies.
That's what I like.
That's the end of it.
That's what I like in a woman. But what we're told we're meant to like.
You haven't got any choice. Your brain tells you that. It's at such a basic programming level that you haven't got any say in it.
But it's a wonder then that the advertisers and the media haven't cottoned onto this, what we really like as men.
The thing is, they're going to go play it safe. They're going to put the slim woman on with a 3-2-3 figure rather than a bigger woman. Because it also works with a bigger one. If you get a woman who is like a size 18, but she's got the small waist and the bigger hips, your eye will still be drawn to her more than a woman who's more apple-shaped.
Yeah, but that's not what they're presenting as.
No, they don't. No, they play it safe because they're going to put slimmer women on because more people are going to like them at the end of the day. That's just the reality.
But anorexically thin women at this point.
Yeah, well, they do that, but that's more to do with selling stuff.
Most of the women they promote now would be.
Oh yeah, they're pretty bony.
I mean, what was that one, the Bridget Jones Diary, that particular, I forget her name.
Renée Zellweger.
Yeah, well, she was nice when she was big, and then she lost all the weight, and I just, she wasn't the same at all.
Yeah, I tell you who was doing that, Geri Halliwell.
Yeah.
When she was in the Spice Girls, she was a little bit bigger.
She was big. She was nice, wasn't she?
She was very, very attractive.
Yeah.
And then she went really skinny. Now, I think she was anorexic in fairness, or bulimic or something. And she just lost all shape. She just turned into a skeleton wrapped in cling film.
Do you know what I think it is?
She's a little bit better now, though.
Do you know what I think it is?
Yeah.
With thin women. I think they can make more money through slimming and dieting and tormenting the female population than they can with what we're attracted to as men.
But the whole point of it is that models particularly, rather than stars and things, they get them really, really skinny, and then they put them in a magazine next to an advertisement for a low-fat dip or something.
Yeah.
So they basically tell you you're not good enough, and then sell you something
food
to make you good enough, which you will never achieve because they're not real and they're photoshopped to hell anyway.
Oh yeah,
it's just a sales thing. And the whole skinny women on TV thing is just a marketing ploy.
I hope people realise how much they are photoshopped because
big time.
On the odd web page you can find before and after of models and actresses and that kind of thing. Before and after photoshopping, and there's a big difference.
Yeah. Here is a good bit of info. I have chickens. You've got chickens.
Yep.
I've hatched chickens in an incubator. I've had them hatched naturally as well, but I used to hatch them in an incubator, and I had a big cage indoors.
Yeah.
No grass inside, in a building with a light on.
That's right. Yeah.
Hatched them out. Put them into a giant sort of cage just while they were young with a heat lamp, keep them nice and warm. And on the floor there was sort of sawdust so that they could sort of kick around a little bit. These chicks, they'd never seen an adult chicken in their life. They'd never seen grass. They'd never stood on earth or only on a wooden base. And they would do the scratch, scratch, and then 2 steps back and then look at the ground, which is what chickens do when they're out in the field. They scratch. They go scratch, scratch, take 2 steps back, and then look at the ground where they've scratched to see what they've revealed and have a peck, see if they found a worm or something. These chicks were doing that within 24 hours of being born, but they've never seen the ground. They've never learnt that from anybody else. They instinctively knew it, and that is what you're trying to suppress if you're trying to stop your greed.
Well, that's what I'm trying to suppress because I know that your general chicken or cow or rhinoceros can't do that, but I'm a human being. There's more to me.
You can limit its effect, but you're not
just giving in to my carnal desires of every, apart from when it comes to the curvy ladies, I'm pretty much
hopeless,
done for then. Yeah. Shall we take a break for some music?
Shall we play music?
Or a jingle?
Well, we could play a jingle.
Let's play a jingle.
We've got jingles. We've got so many jingles.
People love the jingles.
Shall we do a Contact Us jingle? Because actually what we've got, quickly before we go on, we've just purchased a rather nice dictionary of dreams. So if you want to email us or contact us with your dreams, we will analyse them and take the mick live on air.
Are you sure we'll be able to handle all of the emails we're going to get?
We can probably work our way
Will our
through
staff
them.
manage it?
The staff, poor staff, they'll have to work through the night. So yeah, send us a message somehow, some way, and we will analyse your dream live on air.
We'll analyse our own dreams.
Yeah, we'll analyse lots.
If I could remember them,
mine are always a bit surreal.
Yeah, same here.
Very surreal, in fact. Oh, well, yeah.
AlternativeFutureRadio.com. Stalk us on Twitter @OutThereHour. Send hate mail to helpdesk @AlternativeFutureRadio.com. Insult us at Facebook.com/OutThereHour. Troll us on YouTube.com/AFRadioYT. Send us questions for upcoming guests, make requests, or just complain. It's all good. Alternative Future Radio, where spooky just got weird.
So, there you go. You can contact us with your dream information and, we'll look it up.
Yes, we'll be delighted to hear from you in any context whatsoever.
Shall I choose something at random from the Dreams book? Or have you got something that you've dreamt about you want me to look up?
I can't think of anything I've dreamt about lately.
Let's just open it on a random page. That's okay. Catacombs. Do you want to know about catacombs?
No.
No?
Is there anything in there about having a dream where you where you can't stand up and you're sort of paralyzed and you're all.
Ooh, yeah,
have you had one like that? I think that means your life is out of control for you or something.
So look, we've got parasites, paranoia. Where are we?
Dreams about paranoia.
Paralysis.
Dreams
about paranoia is funny.
Do paralysis.
Paralysis. To be paralysed in a dream is normally to be unable to go ahead with some particular action that the superego disapproves of. We may also find ourselves paralysed through fear or through guilt. This is obvious, isn't it? Or through anxiety at our efforts or actions. Will have us blah, 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 blah. Running on the spot is a frequent paralysis image. As our frustration, dreams, and any form of inhibition getting in the way of what may, let's just turn this page, first glance appear to be normal everyday action. The underlying symbolism
cut to the chase.
Of the action, however, is what needs to be addressed rather than the normal action itself. Well, they don't tell you. That's rubbish.
Isn't it gobbledygook?
That's rubbish.
Isn't it?
Rubbish.
There's a particular dream.
Some of these are actually quite good. That was a bad choice.
Oh, go on. Pick your own.
I'll just pick one at random. Hang on. Let's have a look. Slavery.
How can you have a dream about slavery?
Compulsion, guilt. Guilt. Let's just do one-word analysis.
I wonder, we'll have a look at that book properly because there's something...
We'll do a proper analysis if somebody sends us their dream information.
There's something that's often addressed in horror films, and it's happened to me, and I guess it's anxiety-based. It's when you're dreaming.
Anxiety? No.
It's when you're having a nightmare.
Right.
And you've had an awful nightmare. Oh, my God, it's terrible. And you wake up.
Yeah.
And you think, thank God that's over. But it's not.
Ooh.
You're still having it.
I've had one of those to... it wasn't really a nightmare, but it was just a dream within a dream. I've had one of those to, I think, 5 levels.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Which is annoying.
So it means you keep waking up
and you're still asleep.
In it. But is it a nightmare or a dream?
Mine were more dreams or mixed. I've never really had nightmares.
Yeah, well, I've had nightmares, and
I think I've only ever had one or two.
They're disturbing, and you wake up in it, and you think you're woken up, and then something dreadful happens, and then it happens again.
Do you know what I like? Sex dreams.
I don't have those often enough. Hardly ever.
I've had one, and I think it's a myth.
It's only with people I don't want to have sex with.
Oh, really?
That's the only time.
There are people you don't want to have sex with?
Edwina Curry.
Edwina Curry,
Margaret Thatcher.
Lou Ferrigno.
Arnold.
Oh, good grief. Yeah, I think they're a bit of an urban legend. I'm not really sure if they really exist.
What,
sex dreams?
Lou Ferrigno?
No, Lou Ferrigno definitely exists.
I don't seem to have them. I mean, you have the odd dream where you realise you're having a dream and it's a good one, and then you say, I can do whatever I want in this dream.
Lucid dreaming.
Just a dream, and you realise it's a dream.
Don't know if I've done those.
I've had those.
Got top 5 for you.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you might get a bit jittery after the last top 5 I did. I saw that you were a little bit,
I was uncomfortable,
on edge.
As long as you don't mention anything about...
Top 5, top Jews.
I don't think this is going to work.
Right, put it this way, right? I thought, well, maybe they're not. Maybe they didn't like the last lot. Now, they weren't written by me, but, I thought, well, I'm going to look and I'm going to find top 5 Jews. What I've done, top 7.
I've got top 5.
Top 7.
I've got a top 5.
But I'm balancing it out, though. I've done a bottom. I was going to do a bottom 5. I came up with 4. But, there were... In fairness, though, however, there were lots to choose from for the top 5. And the bottom 5... again, there's always lots of people to choose from.
I'd be careful on that, but a lot of my favourite things in my life have been invented by Jewish people, and I think that's what you're going to say here.
Oh, interesting.
A lot of my favourite things.
Interesting.
Okay.
Shall I give you my top 7?
See if I know them.
Top 7. Number 7 you will have known. I've put him in because he had to go in. Simon Wiesenthal. He had to go in at number 7.
Nazi hunter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how could you?
I read a book on Simon
Everybody
Wiesenthal.
likes a Nazi hunter. Mm-hmm. Number 6, comedy genius Mel Brooks.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Got to have him there. Number 5, you may not have known this, William Shatner.
I didn't know that.
William Shatner, Bill Shatner. He's in there at number 5 because he's in Star Trek.
He's great.
What do you need? What do you want? That's it.
This is good. This is positive.
This is good.
I thought you were going to blow it. It's fine.
This is
okay.
Good. Number 4, Albert Einstein.
Yeah, of course.
Also, top 5 favourite.
Yeah.
Number 3, another comedy genius, can get things catastrophically wrong, though, occasionally, some might say, Woody Allen.
Oh, he is Jewish.
He is very Jewish, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of his older films I liked. Some of his newer ones lost their edge, but he's very good. I think he does a lot more directing than anything else these days. Number 2, the genius that is Leonard Bernstein.
Oh, yeah. I was going to cover that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Number 1, 4 people in this particular top 1 Jew.
Is it the Beatles?
It's been covered before. I saw it on some TV. Was it Family Guy or something? Somebody mentioned this. Number 1 of my top 7 all-time Jews.
Okay.
It's not Jesus, by the way. I know you were hankering for me to say Jesus. Kiss.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Kiss.
Gene Simmons.
God gave rock and roll to you.
Oh, hang on. Are you saying all of them?
Kiss? Well, are they all Jewish? I thought they were all Jewish.
Well, Gene Simmons is definitely.
Good.
I think Paul Stanley is, and that is Kiss.
I thought that the whole lot were. It's all good though.
They've always been those two. And
right.
You know, the guitarist.
I thought they were known as being a Jewish group.
Can I add anything to the
Go on, do.
Carole King.
Carole King. She's a singer-songwriter.
Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? She's a singer-songwriter, and a lot of the greatest rock and roll numbers of the 60s were done by her. You've got the songwriters as well. You've got, Lieber and Stroller. They would have written a lot of songs for Elvis Presley. You could say they invented rock and roll in a fair way. And again, I know you find it boring, but comic artist genius Jack Kirby. Jew.
I was trying to
the writer and artist Superman, Jewish.
There was lots of media stuff, and I was trying to balance it a bit more and not do all media.
Did you come across the creators of Superman as being 2 Jewish guys? Because they were.
No, I was looking for interesting ones.
Superman.
Nah.
Who created Superman? 2 Jewish guys.
Yeah, but I mean, Superman's a bit lame.
Go on to the next one. That's the one I'm worried about.
Yeah, 4 worst ones. Yeah. You can't argue with these. You can't argue. One of them's in prison.
Hold on. Is Hitler one of them?
No, he's not. No. And you worry about me. Number 4, Ben Bernanke.
Oh God, awful.
How can you argue with that?
American banker.
How can you argue with that?
Dreadful. Where's the money? Where's the money, Ben?
Yeah. Number 3, Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
Literally made off with the money.
Isn't it funny how those names correspond with what they did?
yeah. Bernie Madoff. He's currently in prison, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I think because he did time. I think he's a scapegoat of some kind. Because they never get caught, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2, Alan Greenspan.
Awful.
Still at large. But he's heralded as being a top. What's the term? What's the American name?
Do you know what he was?
The Federal Reserve Chairman.
He was the treasurer of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, well, he's often heralded as being the great chairman, that they've ever had. He really is the guy who was in charge when everything went south.
He's a great. No, they say he's a great guy. He's awful. Yeah, good.
Number 1, hands down, can't beat it. Millions of reasons why. Henry Kissinger.
I knew you were going to say Kissinger.
How could it not be?
I'm not even sure he's Jewish.
He is, according to Wikipedia.
The guy lies so much.
I'm going by Wikipedia.
Funny story.
Actually, he might lie just to try and disdain somebody else.
Hey, a funny story about Henry Kissinger.
There's a funny story about him?
I don't know. I don't know who said it. It was probably Ike. It was probably David Icke. I'm not sure. But
go on.
He was meant to have been overheard at some dinner party. You know this accent he has. What is it? What is the accent? For heaven's sakes,
Germanic.
Yeah. And apparently, when he's off duty, when the cameras are not on him, he's got this hard New York accent.
Really?
Coffee dog.
Coffee.
Yeah, he's a real Brooklynite.
Funny. Sounds like Woody Allen, basically. Yeah. It's all coming through.
Okay, that was okay.
That was all right. What do you think of that?
I was a bit worried.
We got Kiss. Anything that involves Kiss is good.
You've got to remember, some things that Jewish people invented, you'd be quite surprised. Incredible comic book characters, rock and roll music, and they're thought of as being a sort of a moneyed people who were just into money.
There was a lot of media stuff there.
Yeah.
Because they are very big in the media.
They're very big in the media.
Who can deny such a thing?
Just look at the
for intents and purposes.
end credits of any movie. You're gonna see Stein, and you're gonna see you know.
Yeah, they do want a lot of Hollywood, so they're going to have a lot of media. So that's why I thought I put Einstein in there, I put Kiss in there. Einstein and Kiss. What do you want?
Absolutely.
On This Day.
Oh yeah.
Shall I do On This Day?
Let's do it.
Not a great day, I have to say. Some of this is all right. Let me see.
Give me something.
1965, the British police were first issued with tear gas. Anything? No?
1965. Yeah.
Yeah.
Against hippies.
Probably. Here's an interesting one. 1973, the Royal Navy moves to protect trawlers, a 50-mile zone around Iceland. It was the Cod War.
Oh.
I knew a guy who was on the first HMS Royal, and he was in the Cod War. People often said, "Oh, did you see any action? You know, were you in the Falkland Islands?" He goes, "No, I was in the Cod War." Not really a great salty tale, but there you go.
It's good. Don't worry. It's good. It's good. Go on. It's better than what I've got.
Cod War's ridiculous.
It's better than what I have.
Okay. Let me see. Tony Blair spawns a fourth child.
Tony Blair's kid was in trouble in the papers there last year for drunk and disorderly.
Yeah. I think it was a while ago, wasn't it?
It was a while ago. Urinating in public.
Lovely. 1958, High Wycombe weighs its new mayor.
Oh, right. It had to weigh...
Citizens of the English town of High Wycombe witness a unique ceremony at which the mayor is weighed in public. And it's a woman, actually.
What was the idea of that? That's a bit...
I'm going to guess that they want to find out if she's a witch or something stupid like that. Maybe if she weighs the same as a duck, she's a witch or something. I have no idea. I just do anecdotes. Let me see. Oh, fact of the day. Camp David is closed to the public and is in, let me get this pronunciation right, Catosatin Mountain Park in north central Maryland. Camp David, of course, also on last week's list, didn't get to it, the location of the new G8 summit coming up later this month.
Can we mention the G8 a bit later? Okay.
I'll tell you what, I'll do the events, I'll quickly brush over the events, and we'll go back to G8 because G8's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, events on this day. 1861, North Carolina seceded the Union. 1862, Abraham Lincoln signs the Homestead Act, which gives 250 million acres of land to small farmers. Nice chap. Levi Strauss began making blue jeans, which is nice. Charles Lindbergh took off from Long Island, New York, on board the Spirit of St. Louis for his historic solo flight to Paris in 1927. In 1932, Amelia Earhart took off from Newfoundland to Ireland to become the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic.
But she completely disappeared in one of her flights.
And so did the Lindbergh's child.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Weird.
Yeah. Germany captured the island of Crete in the first, I assume this is in history, first totally airborne invasion.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Yeah.
Good.
Here we are. 1969, the US and the South Vietnamese forces capture Ap Bia Mountain, referred to as Hamburger Hill.
Like the movie.
Yeah. Wow. 2002, recent, East Timor became an independent state. Birthdays for this day, some of them are okay. William George Fargo of Wells Fargo Bank.
That's quite big.
Yeah. Jimmy Stewart, 1908. Actor. Joe Cocker.
Oh, great singer.
1944. Yeah. Gloss over this one. Cher, 1946.
Great singer. Great pair of legs.
Yeah. Bingo wings, bingo legs. No. Italian explorer Christopher Columbus died today in Valladolid in Spain. In poverty, it adds.
Oh, after discovering America?
Yep, died in poverty.
How unusual.
Sounds like the American dream in work.
Did you know the first McDonald's in the UK ever was in Woolwich?
In South London. Yeah.
And if you've ever been to Woolwich, Woolwich is very unremarkable because I used to live there.
Yeah, it's a nowhereville, really, isn't it?
And I'm just surprised that's where they put the first one.
You'd think Chelsea or Kensington or something. Yeah,
Woolwich.
And known for its ferry.
Yeah.
And is there a tunnel, I think, maybe?
Have you ever been there?
I think I've passed it.
Yeah, best thing to do with it.
Kept going.
Most unusual that McDonald's started there.
Did you know that the only McDonald's sign in the world which is not yellow, the M, is white, and it's in Paris?
No, I didn't.
There you go. They wouldn't let them put a yellow one up because it wasn't in keeping with the Parisian way. And they said you can put one up, but it's got to be white. And they're the only people to have ever made such a demand.
But that's the French for you.
Yes. G8.
Yeah, well...
Lots of spooky stuff going on with a G8 and the NATO meeting.
What do you want to say about the G8 and what do I want to say? Is it worth saying?
Well, I only know what I want to say. Or shall I do what you want to say first?
Well, I haven't...
Yeah.
Gosh, well, the G8 is the meeting of...
The group of 8 top performing, financially at least, countries in the world. It was initially going to go to Chicago, where all sorts of funny shenanigans have been going on. They've been telling college campuses in surrounding states to prepare to put people up in their dorms and in their halls and such like. They have been putting adverts, I think, on TV or papers telling people that they might have to take in families from Chicago in the event of an event, a terrorist act, I think they might have used as an example. Very weird stuff. Very high security. Then we've got Putin has decided to send his monkey, Medvedev, instead of him.
Right.
And then they moved the whole shenanigan to Camp David.
Camp David we just mentioned.
Yeah, that's what led me on to it.
Yeah.
They've moved it to that, which is a lot more secure than Chicago. Then, this is where it gets weird. Following the NATO meeting, there's a... following the G8 meeting, there's a NATO meeting, or is it the other way around? I can't remember. And that is still in Chicago. Yeah?
Yeah.
This is where it gets very strange. They have set up a red zone in Chicago, which is the highly secured version for the NATO people to go to. Just on the edge of said red zone is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which is where all of the futures and derivatives are processed. Okay. But that's not in the secure zone.
All right.
Which is somewhat strange, one would think. But yeah, that's on the edge. That has got something in common with a certain building in New York, which was, I believe, it was challenged with finding those missing $2 billion that the Department of Defense lost.
That's right.
That building also got flattened on September 11th.
Ah.
Yeah. What do you think about that? But yeah, something very funny going on with that meeting. Yeah. Looks like they're very worried about something happening at it. Whether or not that's the public or some terrorist type or false flag type.
I don't believe they're remotely worried about the terrorist. They're worried about the people, number one. Not too worried about them because they have these microwave weapons now, or these audio weapons that can just knock you out with pure sound.
Yeah.
Which they rolled out there a few years ago.
Yeah, they'll make you vomit instantly.
Yeah.
They will.
And they drove around zapping a few children as well, just to see, just for a laugh.
Oh, yeah.
False flag.
False flag, yep.
Is there going to be some disaster? Well, they'll all narrowly escape, but not the public?
Well, this is it. This is the thing. I mean, why would they be telling people in surrounding states to be, ready to put people in? They're obviously expecting the area to be unusable.
Well,
maybe some kind of dirty bomb or gas
chemical
or some
weapon,
chemical,
you think?
Something. What else can make things unusable?
That's about it, yeah.
And
chemical warfare.
If it was anything very big, you wouldn't have time or the opportunity to leave.
Yeah.
So it's obviously something that is slow, in nature, so therefore you've got time to sod off.
Well, way down on my list would be terrorists.
Yeah. I'm not really overly convinced that most of them exist.
Oh, they exist in the same way as we have terrorists in the UK. We've got skinheads.
Yeah,
white supremacists.
They're probably the new terrorists, aren't they?
I mean, when they went into these countries like Afghanistan and Iraq, it was on the basis of going into Britain because there were skinheads there, because there was a small minority saying something not nice.
Yeah, that's a joke.
That's the analogy I would use.
Yeah. I'm not overly convinced that it's real at all.
Yeah, but all these warnings are not good.
Yeah, the thing is, again, it could be another psychological ploy, which they're quite big on these days, to make you look at that, focus on that, and take your eye off the ball somewhere else.
Or is it?
Or it could be just to acclimatise you to fear.
Or is it like Britain, where they want to roll out a military? They're looking for an excuse to roll out, like the Britain are doing on the Olympic Games.
It could be, exactly. I mean, it could be that they just want to get people used to the idea of being displaced and moved from A to B en masse. Here's an example. Here's an example of where people get displaced en masse. Let's say we lived in a communist country with a redistribution of the workers, like China. They'll say, we need people in this part of the country. They'll move 4 million people.
Yeah, but how do you
go there and work, or you get the big stick?
How do you get them to move? How do you
with a big stick
in the West? Well, you tell them that where they're living is uninhabitable.
Well, they'll go anywhere though. But my point is, are they just trying to get people used to being moved? Anywhere to start with, and where they tell them maybe later.
Acclimatization.
Yeah, get them used to being told what to do.
It's what it's all about.
Move out of your house, move back into your house, move to B, move to A.
And this point that you made there in the UK about getting people used to having a military on the streets and perhaps leaving them there when the Olympics is over.
So many times in history have the military gone onto the streets of a country for a reason, usually some disaster or another, and not gone home.
Listen, you're mad. You're completely mad out there if you don't think in Germany or Cambodia or Korea when they rolled the military out on the street, it wasn't for a reason like that.
Yeah,
they didn't just roll the military out for the fun of it to say we're taking over. It was for your safety,
your benefit.
You need to understand that
your safety. Yeah,
it's historically proven.
Oh, countless times, over and over and over.
When you hear about militaries being rolled onto your streets, you better get concerned.
Yeah, do something. Do something big.
That's our tuppence for today.
Yes.
We got a bit angry there, didn't we?
We got a little bit uppity. I want to tell you about my experience with JY1.
Could you tell me what JY1 is?
Yeah, it's not the predecessor to KY or anything like that.
R2D2.
Yeah, no. JY1 is the ham radio call sign of the former, now deceased, King Hussein of Jordan.
Wow.
I talked to him once.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd you manage that?
Well, because he was a radio amateur and so was I.
Oh, he was just
about.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
A lot of people got to talk to him. It was like,
Imagine talking to Prince Harry on Facebook or something. It's the equivalent of.
You only generally get a very brief conversation, as you'd imagine, because a lot of people queuing up to talk to him, just confirm that you've spoken to him and then move on. But he's just like, I do this. That's what I do. I'm king. What of it?
I like CB radio, amateur radio.
He just used it.
I know it was very big in the 80s. People had CBs and you could talk to anybody. Yeah. Could you talk to people in other countries?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Well, he's in Jordan, so that would be a yes.
Yeah. But I didn't realise that. I thought it was just within your own.
Well, no, that's CB you're talking about.
So no wonder it was so popular.
Yeah. No, but CB was very local, like 15 miles or 20 miles. But no, you could talk to people. You still can all over the world. I didn't really do it for very long. I found it very boring.
But it was kind of like the kickoff. But not, it was like the internet.
Yeah.
In the way that you could. That was the big thing.
I had a conversation with somebody in the very early 90s who was interested in. Well, I qualified as a radio in 1991 when I was 17, I think. And I had a conversation with somebody. It's the same year I got on the internet. And I looked at the internet and I had voice over IP, the thing where I was phoning the Scientologists with the cheeses.
Yeah.
I had voice over IP technology in 1991. Which was kind of like Skype. It was exactly like Skype.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I looked at that, and then I looked at amateur radio. I thought, well, a computer's like 500 quid at the time, maybe for a cheapie. Yeah. Your internet connection was a tenner, but your average amateur radio set was $1,000. Yeah. And you had to go on a 1-year course normally to get a license.
Okay.
You're restricted about what you could talk about, restricted about this, restricted about that, interference with other people's TVs and stuff. It was just a nightmare. I looked at that, and I had a conversation with somebody, and I said, I am out of here. That's me done.
Yeah.
I said, because the internet is going to wipe your hobby off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And I was right.
And it did.
Yeah.
And it did.
There are still people interested in it, but they're mostly in their 60s.
I think...
as they're dying off, they're not getting replaced. It's a dead hobby.
I kind of think the most exciting thing about the internet was being able to talk to people all over the world.
Yeah.
Originally, and it still is to some extent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, we should cover what guests we've got coming on the Out There Hour.
Oh, definitely.
Shall we brush over them? Let's have a little look here. We'll do this in no particular order. We have got June 15th, Robert Farrell. who is an independent author and investigator of UFOs. He's kind of more of the scientific approach.
Crikey, he's a retired associate professor emeritus from Penn State University.
Yeah.
My goodness.
He knows his beans.
Oh, he sure does.
Yeah. We've got Ben coming back.
Which is wonderful.
I like Ben. June 8th, Ben's coming back to talk about secret societies and media manipulation.
Two of my favourite subjects.
That's why I picked them. I did that just for you.
Thank you very much.
We're still negotiating with Andrew Di Bastiaggio.
He will come on.
He says he's going to come on in June. He's busy doing some sort of... He's a trial lawyer. And he's busy for the next couple of weeks doing a trial.
He is. It's going to blow your mind.
He's good. Sean Billig. First-hand account of an alien close encounter stroke abduction contactee scenario.
Yeah. So this guy, Sean's going to tell us what happened.
What he saw, what he experienced. That should be very interesting. I love the first-hand stuff because
I do.
It's all very well and good talking to somebody who's written a book about other people's experiences, but get straight from the horse's mouth.
It's really, it's great. It's the best way.
We're having a little bit of a alien ET UFO theme in June, it seems.
I hope you're interested in UFOs.
Well, yeah. Well, some of this is actually broader. Dan Willis, he is a little bit of a big wig in the UFO field. Alien disclosure and media manipulation about that.
About it, yeah.
So, it does go wider than just the initial topic, because he is talking about how the media have basically sat on, suppressed, and ignored.
He was some kind of a radio operator, or
yeah. I think he's worked on radio stations and things as well. I think he's a radio as well. I'm not sure. He spoke at the press conference that they had in, I think was it 2001? Is it? Yeah, National Press Club conference in 2001 about alien disclosure, and they had lots of experts there. Some other people from that meeting are also coming, and we'll get to them. And basically, the world's media just blanked them and just ignored them. And they got some big names at this thing. Former astronauts, scientists, professional scientists, NASA people. Big names, people who you really should sit up and pay attention to.
Got something to say,
you could think to yourself, well, if maybe one of them's completely nuts, we can we can accept that. But they're not all nuts. Yeah. And if they're not all nuts, then you need to be thinking, what the hell's going on?
This is what we say about this show. Somebody's got something to say. We want to hear them. We're not here to judge.
Yeah.
We're not here to have our opinion. We just want to hear what you have to say.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, if you've got a press conference there with, I'm not sure how many speakers there were, 20, 30 or something. If they're all saying the same thing and they're all professional, qualified, experienced people.
Astronauts,
with proper jobs, experience, careers to think of, futures to think of, mortgages to pay. It's not beneficial to them to come on stage and come over like a crank.
No.
They're not going to get anything from that except for heartache and a pain in the ass.
Yeah, yet they're still doing it.
But yet they're still doing it. And that in itself gives them some degree of weight.
And yet the media didn't deem it important.
They buried it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think we're going to talk about that one.
Ashwin Faranaki?
Faranacci, I think that's pronounced.
Faranacci, alien contactee given knowledge.
Yeah. He's been given knowledge, a bit like Colleen Thomas was given some kind of physics knowledge, she says. He was given various bits of knowledge about all sorts, but most importantly, end times message is the way it was phrased.
I've watched a quick clip with him. I think it's, again, this thing about aliens and the Bible.
Yeah.
And am I right there?
I think there might be a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very interesting. So we've got Andrew Johnson coming back. He's very good. I like him.
On 9/11.
9/11 this time. We're probably going to get him back, hopefully, a few times because he's got a good few subjects he talks about, but this time it's 9/11. Then we've got Foster Gamble. He's on
I don't know what to say about
May
it.
21st.
I think people think we're making it up. No, he's coming on to talk to us.
We booked him.
We booked him.
Yeah.
And he wants to speak to us.
Just hope he turns up after all this build-up. May 21st, Foster Gamble's coming on to talk about his film Thrive, which you can watch on YouTube. We've got it bookmarked on our on alternativefutureradio.com.
You've got no idea how many people said I had to go and watch Thrive.
Everybody said that
was on to me about it.
Yeah. And it's kind of a summing up of theories that have been around for a while. There's a few new bits in there about energy, but
it's a bit different. It's saying what's wrong, but it's saying what are the solutions. Then
I think if I was to sum it up, I'd say it was very similar to what maybe David Icke has said and a few other people. but it's said much more succinctly in a more professional way, more believable, less hysteria.
More to the point.
More to the point, certainly. Yeah. It's not 14 hours long. And it's just done better.
And we've got a really great holistic doctor.
Yes, we've got Dr. David Hunt back in the studio.
Because I was listening back to our previous interview with David.
Yeah.
And there's so much there. I didn't take it in on the day, but he's got so much knowledge.
Oh, he's a fountain of knowledge. He's coming back to talk about seasonal disorders this time.
Yeah.
I assume he's going to be offering his cures for these things and things that people can do.
So you have a sickness at a certain time of year.
Yeah, I mentioned this time of year it's going to be maybe hay fever and pollens and allergies.
Yeah.
Then you've got seasonally affective disorder in the winter, in the darker months. I'm sure there's plenty of them.
Depression in the winter.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, here we have a face.
Paul Westwood, he's coming back. He came on to talk about big cats before because that's his website. bigcatmonitors.co.uk, but he is coming back this time to talk about one of his other interests, Dr. David Kelly.
Dr. David Kelly and Dr. David Kelly's suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't really say much more about that one. He's got some theories on that one, and they're not really in line with the official story, shall we say.
No. Things don't add up.
Then we've got June 1st, we've got Dr. Carol Rosen, everybody.
On disarming space.
Disarming space, or preventing the arming of space, I suppose I should technically say, but I couldn't really fit that in the space.
I was under the impression that space was already somewhat armed with satellites.
I thought it was. I thought there was already like a Star Wars-y type system up there.
Well, Reagan started it.
Yeah, I know it never officially got made, but I don't know.
Well,
Why wouldn't they have done it? It's so easy to do. Even if it was a basic one rocket system, you would imagine there'd be something up
you
there.
Could fire from a satellite.
Yeah. It'd be fairly straightforward to do. Maybe it's not official, but I suspect there might be something up there.
Well, hopefully Carol will tell us more, but she's quite an important lady. She's a
bona fide
scientist.
Yeah. She worked at Fairchild Industries as an executive.
Dare I say it again? She worked with Werner von Braun.
Werner von Braun.
The German rocket scientist.
Yeah, you need to work on your German accent more, I think. Yeah, we've got quite a lot of people coming up, and that's May going into the beginning of June. We've got so many good people coming up.
That's a lot of work for us, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we're going to be busy little bees. Oh, have you got anything else on your list there?
No.
Oh, good grief. Right. Well, in that case, listen. You know what the music means?
Oh.
I've just seen the time. We've gone careering off the end of the programme again.
Well, it's goodbye from After Hours.
Goodbye from After Hours, everybody. And we hope to catch you again next week.
See how I'm pointing out the difference with After Hours?
After Hours, yeah. Must repeat.
You're listening to Alternative Future Radio, home of the weird, resting place of the paranormal. Will take you to the furthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond. Strange phenomena, aliens, psychics, cryptozoology, conspiracy, holistic health, and UFOs. Alternative Future Radio, where spooky just got weird.
Of anything that he's done of any great merit. Nothing he's done has touched me anyway, put it that way.
All kinds of plays and...
Plays.
Poems.
Plays are like films, but more boring and a lot more expensive.
Lady Chatterley's Lover, which wasn't Bernard Shaw, it was D.H. Lawrence, but it's... I'll help you along. They become films at some point.
Is this some kind of recovery that you thought that he wrote that, didn't you?
Oh, no. Women in Love, it was directed by... No? Well, they're all great plays that were made into movies.
Plays, yeah. Plays are so much fun.
Well, they are.
That's why the theatre's so strong at the moment. Its numbers just increase every year and more theatres open every week.
It is for the select intellectual few.
Select intellectual few. Emperor's New Clothes much? Sit around telling each other how much you enjoy it, even though it's awful.
I watched a movie on Exorcist last night.
A movie about The Exorcist?
No, it was about exorcism, about demonic possession.
Oh, right. Well, we nearly got through an episode there without demonic possession coming up.
I thought I'd bring it up.
We'll do Nazis later. Go on.
It's called The Devil Inside. It's a new film.
Okay, yeah.
It's done like a sort of a what was that, Blair Witch?
Oh, like a mockumentary.
It's a mockumentary. And it was just pointing out there that, I know this happens in Rome, in the Vatican. They do little lectures on possession, and you'll have priests, but you'll have psychiatrists, and you'll have all kinds sort of debating whether it's mental illness or is it a spiritual phenomenon.
Yeah. And?
Well, I mean, there's no conclusion on it.
But why do they keep having them?
Because it's inconclusive, like most of debates and science.
Well, I don't know why you would keep going over the same thing. I think Einstein said that the definition of stupidity was doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Well, that would be science then.
No, because science changes something, a variable.
Science is like a religion to you.
It's not a religion to me.
I mean, you say if it's scientifically proven, that's it. There's nothing else to look at.
Until somebody disproves it, which science is always open to.
But scientists are always debating and they're always disagreeing.
That's the point, to try and get to what they believe to be the truth. And then it's somebody else's job to disprove it if they think they've got a better idea.
Yeah, but what was scientifically proven, say, 200-300 years ago, has been disproven since.
Yeah.
So that at the point in science right now, in 200 or 300 years' time, or 500 years' time, most of that will probably be disproven.
Some, maybe, but not most.
That's why I don't have the greatest of faith in science. I can take it on board, but I don't think it's the answer.
Yeah.
It's the end.
I think that some things are so irrefutable and unnegotiable that they probably will never be changed.
Yeah, but not everything.
But some of the stuff that we're still a bit vague on definitely will be revised. But some of it, I mean, like, I don't know. For example, the makeup of an atom. You know, they're doing all their Large Hadron Collider stuff, and they don't know what all the gaps are between the elements of an atom. And that's going to rewrite the books if they actually find out.
Absolutely.
To some degree. But they're doing it, and they will rewrite the books. But they hadn't previously written a book about what was between the atoms. They only said, we don't know. And we don't know is an acceptable answer. Whereas if you put a dog collar on somebody, we don't know, doesn't ever happen. All they do then is make up their own version of reality and punt that instead of we don't know.
But then, of course, there was the time when there was no such thing as an atom or a molecule or anything else. And then the...
Go on.
But at that time, it was all nonsense. If somebody was going around randomly saying, "Oh, that we're all made up of these little tiny balls,"
it was probably heresy.
And I don't know what holds it together.
Yeah,
you'd say, "Well, that man's a nutter."
Not if he could prove it.
Well, he couldn't prove it.
Yeah, well, that's why nobody said it.
This was
everybody else was just putting up with it.
Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, their car was quite good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
The Dukes of Hazzard, kind of similar.
Yeah, very similar, yeah.
Very similar.
I don't know much about cars, but they look kind of similar to me.
We had a bit of an argument about this, the Fall Guys truck.
Yeah, not really sure. I tell you what I prefer, the A-Team's van.
I haven't got that down, but yes, the A-Team's van. But the Fall Guys truck, he did drive the same truck in every episode, and Matchbox did make a model of it. Right. Well done. How many is that, Mark? I have no idea. 3. Oh, well, Munsters. Do you remember the Munsters?
Yes, yeah.
Thing. And the Batmobile from Adam West's Batmobile, number 1. Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, there's loads of TV cars. You've got Kitt from Knight Rider. Yeah, I haven't got that. What was that? Was that a Pontiac? Was it a Firebird? It was a black car. Yeah. I don't know much about cars. I think it was a Pontiac. Serious? I think, yeah. You're not a car fan? I drive a Daewoo. Yeah. I drive a Nissan. Yeah. I recommend a Nissan to anybody. Yeah. There was the famous cars from Bullitt, which I think one of them was a Dodge Charger. I think the other one was a... what's the one with a picture of a horse on the front? Oh, Lamborghini? No, not that kind of horse. Or is it a dog? I can't remember what it's called. I don't know much about cars. I think my favourite car, because I'm not a car guy either, but I think my favourite one would have been Roger Moore's white one. The one that went underneath the water with. Yeah. I don't know what kind of car that was. That was about the only car I really. Yeah, it was rated. A white one. And again, I'm not a car guy at all. Yeah, there's lots of car people screaming all these names at us. I can imagine, and it's like, oh yeah, it was a white one. I think it's worth mentioning to people that Mark doesn't know who George Bernard Shaw is. And he's never heard of him.
I know his name. I know what he did.
Or how famous he is.
I know that lots of people have heard of him, but I have no idea.
We have a guest. And we do an interview.
We do. It's mostly an interview show.
And then we have this. We've got the thing called the After Hours.
The After Hours show.
A little bit later in the evening when we kick off our shoes and smoke a pipe, put on our slippers.
You do know that smoking a pipe is a euphemism, don't you?
I don't.
Yeah.
I can only guess what that means.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's smoking my pipe.
Yeah. Not in this room. Not right now.
Well, depending on what you look like. No, I actually meant actually smoking a pipe.
Right. Okay.
That's much better. I can hear myself again now. I had no volume there.
Lovely.
But,
lovely.
I've kicked in.
Yeah. Go on.
So, just a little bit of an explanation about the two shows. It might be a bit
some people
confusing.
might be just joining in.
So we have an out there hour where we do an interview, and we have the after hours where we just kick back and have a chat.
Yeah, exactly.
About what we've chatted about.
Yes. Yeah, we're at the post-meeting and the pre-meeting for the meeting after.
You look keen with your piece of paper.
I've got a piece of paper.
Ah.
Yeah, with very little written on it.
I noticed that.
Yes, it's my after-hours plan, which we diligently draw up every week.
It's more than what I've got, to be fair.
You've got nothing?
I've got my hands.
Wow.
With nothing written on them.
What a pro.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to start then?
Yeah, why don't I?
You go on, do.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to kick me off with something.
Yeah.
Shall I start with a desperate top five?
Oh, go. Oh, we're straight in at the top five, is it? Go on, start with your desperate top five.
Well, about 5 minutes in, as I was driving, it occurred to me.
Yes.
TV. TV cars, cool ones.
There are some cool cars.
Yeah. The top of the list here, the Monkey Mobile, because we were talking about Mike Nesmith last time.
Well, you were.
I was.
You're listening to Alternative Future Radio, home of the weird, resting place of the paranormal. Will take you to the furthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond. Strange phenomena, aliens, psychics, cryptozoology, conspiracy, holistic health, and UFOs. Alternative Future Radio, where spooky just got weird.
From the alternative to the mainstream. From the ridiculous to the sublime. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the audio delight that is the After Hours Show with Basel and Mark.
Oh, yeah. The smoothness. It's like The Gathering from Highlander, but smoother. Good morning, Basel.
I never know where to come in with that new.
It's all over the place.
Isn't it?
It is. It's a little bit random.
There's no space to sort of...
Not really. No. You just have to come in full whack.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon.
Yes.
To Europe, the Middle East,
Christ.
and Africa.
What about Australia? What about America?
I'm not too sure about Australia and America.
Oh, just generally. You're just not sure about
them.
They're
not showing their faces.
You're not sure where they stand?
Well, they're just not downloading us enough.
We're getting a good few from America.
Are we doing better in America?
Not so much from Australia, though.
Australia's very low.
Yeah, very, very low.
Europe, Africa, Middle East.
Middle East, particularly.
Fantastic.
Full bore. The Middle East are making up quite a sizable proportion of our downloads for reasons we still do not understand. Please email us and let us know.
We have two shows.
Yes.
I want to try to explain this a little bit better. We have the Out There Hour.
Yeah.
Which is where we talk to our...